Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Damage Does D&D. This is our Sunday morning campaign with the illustrious Martin as DM. As yet unnamed. Nobody has come forward with a name for this campaign as yet. So, I will hand you over to the wonderful Martin. Take it away.
Coffee Swig. Good morning and welcome to Unnamed Campaign. Last time, the group were in Susano delivering a message to a researcher, which they did, and then they went off for find somewhere to stay for the night. But during the evening, the researcher was brought into the tavern where they spoke to him to find odd things and that he didn't seem to be the same person. Haven't thought about last week too much, so I'm trying to remember it as I go. They spoke to him for a bit, had a few drinks. He got quite drunk and said, "Talk to me tomorrow." Which they did. Went round to the doctor's where he ended up spending the night. Spoke to him, found out a little bit more, and then went off to have a little investigation around the town to find a bit of blood where the real Slim Shady, researcher Ignacio, had been bonked over the head. They found some tracks heading out of the town to the east, which did change boot size or boot print as it was travelling, and deduced to be somebody shifting forms. But the boot size didn't change. And the people were talked to, but nothing really was gained from that. In the evening, good enough. In the evening, the group went over to have a chat with the researcher once he got over his hangover, and he sort of filled them in a little bit and sent them back to the capital via teleports fell. And there the group met with the mage Lucrezia, where she was interested to hear all the details, and then offered a new job to the group, where they were being teleported to the island of Temil, where there was some reports of lots of extremely large creatures causing a bit of chaos. And at the point of teleport finished, so we pick up with the four of you, the five if we include the anonymous fifth member, teleporting into what appears to be a large hunting cabin. Look around and there's trophy mounts on the walls of furs and taxidermied creatures. And at a desk on the far end is sat a stocky tabaxi, who doesn't look up at you as you walk in, as you teleport in. Sorry.
Morning, brother.
Oh, hey. Good morning. Good evening. It's about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
I think I'd worked it out to be. You guys, you've been sent by the council.
That is correct.
All right. And he stands up, and he is short for a tabaxi, and he's quite well built and stocky. He's very grayscale with sort of stripes, more like a tiger than the usual sort of leopard that you'd see tabaxis. And he's sort of grizzled and scarred and looks very hunter type. So it's Sheriff Brooke here. I'm glad they finally sent someone or some people. May I ask your names?
I am Dalen.
I am Sasha Hartwood.
Sasha.
I'm Biv Knox. You probably heard of me.
If not,
I'm Mazdak.
Mazdak. Great. Nice to meet you all.
Mazdak is trying very hard to look as if look like someone who's never actually eaten a tabaxi tail. And is kind of hiding behind Dalen.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bit awkward there. We sort of eating tabaxi tails just a couple of days ago.
I forgot that.
Sorry, what was the sheriff's name?
Brooke.
Sheriff Brooke. OOKE.
So, Sheriff, what can you tell us?
So, 2 days ago we had just these enormous creatures just appear on the island, and we all know some strange things have been happening recently. But this was something else. Not all of them are enormous. Some of them are quite small, but all of them are dangerous in some way. Now, I'm very precious with this island. It is a place of conservation, and having new creatures just appear and upset the chain of nature around here is very upsetting to me. But we need to get rid of them or take them someplace else. I don't know. Do you know anything about the strange happenings? Will they just disappear in time?
Mazdak, you're the professional.
The signs would point to things that they should disappear at some point, but I don't know how long that will take. What we've noticed with other effects or side effects of these tears or rifts, as we're calling them, would be that the side effects tend to last for a few days and then vanish. But it would appear that these creatures have not vanished, although the experience with the toads would suggest that they do vanish eventually. But I can understand your closed environment here would be certainly would perhaps the overwhelmed by these new creatures. Perhaps but I suspect that we would have to try to contain them until they vanish.
Right.
How long did they ago did they arrive?
It's been about 2 days.
Hmm.
Just to confirm a point there from what you said, Chaz. The area with the toads, the treed area, you left and the forest was still there and the toads were still there. You haven't been back
Okay, yeah,
to see whether it was still there or not.
Right, I don't know that, so
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so well, there's nothing we can do tonight, but we have prepared somewhere for you to stay. We were told a group was coming, so we prepared a house for you guys to stay in. And in the morning, I will take you out and we'll visit some of the sites that I've scouted over today.
I feel a decision must be made whether you want us to contain or destroy these creatures.
Well, if it were up to me, which not entirely, I would rather they destroy it. But we will speak to the mayor tomorrow.
Very well.
So please come with me. And he walks out of this hunting cabin. But as you walk out, you'd expect a hunting cabin to be in the woods, but it's not. It's just in the town, the village. It's just the way he wants his house to be. You walk out, and it's a small village-ish. In fact, if you're logged into Roll20,
Yep.
it's basically just a plan view of the town. But I need to move you over there.
Ooh.
Huge amount, but it's a plan view. But he walks you down the street. He's can I do a ping thing? How do I do a ping thing in here? Can't remember.
Click and hold.
There you go. So yeah, his house was. I just dragged someone over there. That was his house that you were just in. He walks down the street and takes you through the main square, down another alleyway the other side, and you've got some digs sort of over here. It's a nice little house. He walks in. As you walk in, there's a woman in there who's just a human woman, and she's just sort of propping up some pillows on the couch and making sure everything's nice and okay. Oh, hey, right. So you, I'll be out your way in a second. I was just making sure everything's okay for you.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
Okay, right. Well, let's go. Gotta get back to my little boy. And she just scampers off.
Sheriff, how are the defences in the town? Do you have walls?
Defenses are non-existent, really. We do not have a wall. There's no reason for us to defend.
Do you have guards looking out?
Not really.
Maybe you should.
This town is, this village really, it's small. We don't have any kind of rivals. There's another village on the island, but they're the other side of the mountain in the middle.
Why don't you get some of the locals just to keep an eye on the surrounding area in case some nasties decide to come and visit, and then at least we can be warned and react.
I think that's a good idea. I've been trying to play down the danger to the townsfolk at the moment, but it's probably not a bad idea to just set a few people on some watches through the night. Yeah. So I'll leave you to it. There is some food in the kitchen if you needed anything. You know where my house is, so if you need anything desperately, then come see me. Okay?
Thank you, Sheriff.
All right.
See you in the morning.
We appreciate your hospitality.
No problem. It's all yours as long as you can help with the problem. And he's off. So the four of you, the five of you ish, are in this house. It's a decent little house. There's nothing. It's not huge. There's no garden or anything. It's just there are 3 bedrooms. So you'll have to organise yourselves. But there is a living room and kitchen downstairs.
Well, seems we have a pest infestation we need to sort out.
Indeed.
I mean, they did say some of these weren't carnivorous. They seemed to be eating vegetation rather than people.
But it could still upset the equilibrium of this island.
Well, yes. I think we need to get an idea of how many of these things there are. If there are very many, then the 4/5 of us won't really be able to do much. At least not quickly. But if there's only a few, then maybe we could sort something out.
I mean, if they want them destroyed, that's going to be ultimately easier than trying to round all these creatures up.
Well, yes, if they're as large as they say, then trying to corral them somewhere is going to be incredibly difficult. Unless we can find some sort of natural ravine or something.
I don't like the idea of them not having a watch, so I'm gonna. Is there like a window in this?
Yeah, but the window looks across the street to another building.
Yeah, I want to try and get out the window and try and get onto the roof.
Okay. Do a quick acrobatics, but for you, it's not going to be a high DC.
Acrobatics 16.
Yeah, no problem. It slides up. You whip out, scamper up the side of the building.
I just want to see how far I can see from the roof around.
Okay.
Is there any tall buildings blocking sort of like the horizon?
No. The height of the town is very similar. They're all 2-story buildings basically.
Okay.
So you can pretty much see in all directions. To the east, there is a mountain in the center of the island, as the sheriff said.
Okay. I'll come back into the house and go. You get a fairly good view from up the roof, so maybe we should take it in turns to stay up there and keep watch. If they're not going to keep watch, we should keep watch.
That seems like a good idea to me.
I know.
Do you suppose he knows that people eat tabaxi tails?
I wouldn't tell him.
No.
Certainly wouldn't tell him that you've eaten tabaxi tails,
No, quite.
because he might decide he wants to try and eat your tail.
I don't have a tail.
Metaphorical tail. A leg would do.
Or the rump. The rump is usually the juiciest part.
Mm.
You're all very mean.
It's not mean if it's true.
Mazdak backs into a corner, clutching his book in front of him.
Walk over to Maz and just sort of ruffle his hair and give him a big grin.
I don't have any hair.
Okay. Pat his head.
Ruffle his scalp.
Yeah.
And yeah. And just have a big cheesy grin.
I would be very surprised if he didn't know that it is considered a delicacy in some places. It's just the way of the world.
Yes, but I ate a tabaxi tail. I'm very concerned about this.
Did you eat his toe?
Well, I don't think so. I don't know. It wasn't attached to him.
Then unless you ate his
what
tail,
if-
I'm not
what-
sure he's going to be very worried about it.
Okay. But we still shouldn't tell him.
No.
Okay. Right.
We don't have to tell everybody everything as soon as we meet them, Mazdak. I know you have a tendency to overshare sometimes, but some
Well,
things we can keep to ourselves.
The only thing that I share are knowledge, and knowledge should be shared because obviously the more people know, the better.
If you share this knowledge, then you might not live very long.
Right.
It's diplomacy.
Okay.
Sharing knowledge with the people who need to know that knowledge rather than sharing everything with everyone.
This seems a little, well, okay. I am a little confused, but okay.
Not everybody needs to know everything, Mazdak.
That seems counterintuitive, but yes, okay.
Bivnox, did you want to do the first shift on the roof?
Yeah, if you want. I'll wake someone up afterwards. Are we all going to have a go? I think it'll be good for you, Mazdak, to have a go. You can sit with someone if you want.
I'm not sure I'll be the best at climbing onto a roof. I'm not the most agile or light person. I'll probably go through it, unless there's another way we can find up from upstairs.
Don't worry, then. We'll take care of it. I mean, you can come with me if you want, Mazdak. No books, just eyes.
Well, I will. I can.
You can say no.
Well, if we both go, then that means that there aren't enough people to do the watch. I thought we would take turns. You see, that's what you said.
Well, if you feel you can do it on your own and not get lost in the book,
Absolutely.
Okay, I trust you. I will wake you for second watch.
Okay.
And I will take third.
I'll scamper back up onto the roof.
The rest of you going to bed?
Have something to eat and drink and go to bed.
I will study my book. Learn and watch, research my spells.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, Bivnox. Up on the roof, do a perception check for me.
Ooh, not good. 7.
It's there's not much that you can see. There's trees, there's fields, there's landscapes. There's a little bit of indistinct noise that you can hear coming from quite a way away, but nothing to worry about, you think?
Yeah, I'll have my crossbow out and I'll just be sort of pacing around the roof. Probably not a big area that I can pace around, but just looking
Well,
like
the area that you're on is a collection of buildings.
Okay.
You can move between all the roofs.
Yeah.
So you got a good run to move in. But yeah, the time passes and your watch comes to an end.
So I'll get back into the house and I'll go and find Mazdak. I'll be very careful about waking him after previous,
Eldritch
waking
blast
him.
to the
And,
face. Yeah. Fair enough.
so I'll just sort of call from the side of the room, Mazdak.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Well, the responsibility is yours if you can handle it.
Of course. Yes. Okay. So, where are the stairs to the roof?
Or you just go out the window.
And there's a ladder, or
No.
okay. Sort of poke my head out the window. So just up there.
Yeah, I can help you if you want.
I will try.
So, what are you taking with you?
What do you mean?
What are you taking with you?
All of my things?
Not all your things. You don't need all your things.
Oh, I definitely do.
You don't need your books.
I definitely do. If I'm separated from my books, this is not a good thing.
How are you gonna? Well, you can take your books, but you're not to read them
Of course.
because you need to use your eyes for what?
Absolutely. I will not be reading my books. I will be looking out for gigantic monsters.
And what do you do if you find a gigantic monster?
Wake you up?
Good. And I'll slap him on the back.
Okay. And I
Right.
will try to climb up the outside of the building
I
onto
will.
the roof.
I will help him.
Okay. Make your acrobatics with advantage.
8. I rolled a 6. I thought, oh, I've got advantage. Rolled a 2.
Did you go out the ground floor or the first floor window?
Ground floor, because that's where I was. So
Fair enough. So you go out the window, which is next to the front door, just because this is what Bivnox has done.
yeah.
And you immediately turn and try to climb, and there's just nothing to hold on to, and you eventually just sort of fall backwards onto the street.
I'll probably just chuckle, knowing that he really should have gone out the ground floor window. But he's learned. So how did that work out for you?
Well, I'm a bit confused as I sort of dust myself down. Where do you hold on to?
Follow me now. If you want to get to the roof,
Right.
you want to try and start as close to the roof as possible. You're not very world smart, are you? You're very book smart, but
But you went out the window. That's what you said to do.
it didn't go out this window.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
So, see these things here? These are called stairs. Follow me. I'll lead him up the stairs.
Mazdak will follow, just muttering.
Now, you
about
see this window?
Stairs.
We are closer to where we want to be.
Yes, I understand the concept of stairs and height.
Do you, though? Because I said to get to the roof and you started on the ground floor.
But because that's where we were.
Yes,
You
you
said
don't
go
have a
out the
lot of
window. So that's what I did.
very smart, not a lot of common sense. So try this window because it's closer to the roof.
I will open the window, look out, and are there any handholds I could possibly get hold of?
Yeah.
Cool. I will attempt to go up the wall again.
I'm not going to help him this time.
Okay.
That's better. 16.
This all makes much more sense. Yeah, you can get the sort of edge of the roof and things. I don't know how buildings work, architecture,
Yeah.
and you can scamper up without a problem.
Okay.
As soon as Mazdak's out of my eye range, you'll hear an audible, like quite a loud sigh as I turn and go to bed.
And in your head, you can hear, in Goblin, I can still hear you, you know.
Can I reply?
Yeah.
With a message cantrip, you can, yeah.
No,
if
it's
that's
not
what
a
it-
message. No, I can
Oh.
I have awakened mind. I can speak to any creature.
Can they speak back?
It doesn't say they can.
Okay. Then no.
I'll just grumble something about being, sheltered and don't know how to act in the real world. Stupid little thing.
Can
And
still
I'll head to
still
bed.
hear you. So
Fair enough.
I will settle
Yeah.
down, open my book, cast dancing lights, and start reading my book. I lied.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice beacon for any monster, isn't it? Shiny lights in the sky.
Reading my book.
Okay.
I will occasionally cast a glance about to see if there's anything.
Well, you can do a perception if you want to, at disadvantage, because
Okay.
if you're not really paying attention and it's dark and you don't have dark vision. So.
Yeah, that will be a perception 4.
So you kind of do this from time to time. There's nothing in your face, so there's nothing worth looking at.
Yes, nothing to worry about.
Really?
It's all fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
While
hope
you
his book gets eaten.
look, this is all fun and games, but let's be serious. Never wish for a book to be eaten. That's just
Your inner scar is showing.
Yeah,
Put
quite.
it away.
my me is showing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just read, have a little glance around. Nothing really to worry about. At one point, you do get the urge to just flick your book to the back page.
Okay, which I will do.
And there you see letters here as they did once before.
Ooh.
And this says, "Speak to Jakoto." Seems to be a name of a person.
Oh. Okay, I will note that down and try and find somebody called Jakoto.
But the rest of your watch comes to an end. And then you have the realization that you've got to get down off of the building.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I will
Well, I wonder if he gets too lost in his book and doesn't realise the time.
I mean, that's possible.
I'll let you decide that.
Yep, I'm just reading my book.
And suddenly the sun's coming up.
Oh. Must be somebody else's turn for watch then. So I've cancelled dancing lights, closed my book, and then realise, of course, I've got to get off the roof. I will attempt to get off the roof by climbing back to the window.
Okay, give it a go.
Natural one,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
So even as you were sort of walking up to the edge of the roof, thinking about looking over, you just trip over a roof tile and tumble off the side of the building. You take 5 points of damage as you hit the
Nice.
floor.
Oof.
Winded.
Just first thing I do is check my book to see if it's okay.
Your book is fine. You instinctively hugged it as you were
Yeah.
falling.
So I sort of get up, brush myself down again, and then go through the door. Go and find Sasha and wake her. Sasha, it's time for your watch.
Why does it seem a bit lighter than it should be?
Well, well,
And why are you covered in dust?
I sort of fell off the roof. But it's okay, because my book is fine.
He's got a broken leg, but his book's fine.
And I will go and...
Did you pay attention
Of course. It's quite interesting. When you fall
to your
off a roof-
surroundings, not the book?
when you fall off a roof, it gives you a sort of clarity about how high a building is. I will.
I'm just going to shake my head, walk to the window upstairs, and climb to the roof.
I will go and sit downstairs on the chair, one of the chairs, curl up, and go to sleep.
Okay. You do that. Make a roof check.
Is there any way that I can just like quick myself up there using athletics rather than trying to be acrobatic about it?
That reasonable request. Given that you are twice the height of Mazdak, you can probably just reach the roof, the whatever you call it, and just try and pull yourself up. Lintel.
I think I found the tile that Mazdak fell off of because it was a natural one.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the best way of putting it. You reach up, but there's some missing tiles for some reason, and you also plummet to the floor. Roll higher for you. You take 9 points of bludgeoning as you fell back and landed more on your head.
So the campaign ends when everybody dies falling off a roof. Is that what we're saying?
Maybe so.
Do I hear the thump as she hits the ground? As I want to
Probably, yeah. This one, you wouldn't be asleep yet.
So I sort of rush over to the window.
Why are there missing tiles?
I told you I fell off the roof. So have you. We're falling buddies.
And I just sort of get up, dust myself off, and head to the window, but try and find a different place to pull myself up to.
Okay. Try it again.
I'll go back to sleep. Or go to sleep.
23.
Slightly better.
A little bit better, yeah. Yeah, this time you're just full of confidence. You just find the right thing and just launch your feet up into the air and flip over and round and you're up. And then from the ground floor, you hear, "What you doing up there?" As the sheriffs come to the house.
Keeping watch.
Well, good stuff. It's daybreak, so I thought we should head out early. We've got lots to see today.
Of course.
Do you need a hand down? I could fetch a ladder.
No. It's fine. Thank you,
Okay.
No, we get off the roof by falling. That's how we do it.
Mm.
I will head to the lowest point of the roof, hang over as far as I can, and then just sort of lightly drop myself down.
All the way to the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of hang on to the edge and then just sort of drop myself.
Okay. Do a graceful check. Wait, or something. I don't know. Just roll a d20. I'm not going to force any more damage on you, but just for the flavour of how gracefully you manage it.
18.
18. Yeah, very nice. You do. You manage to sort of pull yourself down, get yourself to the lowest point, just release, do a little
Superhero landing.
Yeah, which would absolutely break your knees if you tried. But this is a game. And you look cool as shit while you're doing it.
But no one sees it.
But yeah, the sheriff's already walked into the house.
Oh, morning.
Morning.
I have a question. Do you know somebody called Jakoto?
Jakoto. Not in this town.
Okay, thank you.
Do they get a long rest?
Oh, I'm not getting my hit points back.
It's fine. You can all have your hit points back.
Very, very kind of you, DM. Thank you.
I think you might need them if we're going to be fighting T-Rexes today.
Also, as well, because Nat told me that we leveled up last week and I didn't do it, so I did
Oh,
roll.
sorry, Dan. I should have told you. Yeah.
So I did roll my hit point dice, and I got 10 out of 10.
No.
Wow, nice.
I carry on with my streak of rolling quite well on hit point dice.
Yeah. Awesome.
Maybe you could teach Fiddy how to do that.
Yeah. I probably got more hit points of this character at level 3 than I have of, his character on Tuesdays.
I think we need
So it's
to
30 now.
change the system. So if Mazdak's going to do watches, I think he needs to do the last one because he did not get me up in time.
Oh,
Well, I don't. Nobody told me how long the watches were supposed to be.
hey, I trusted you to do this.
I did
You
it.
said you could cope with it on your own.
I did.
Did you get lost in your book?
No,
Be honest.
absolutely
Do I
not.
believe him?
I can make a persuasion roll if you like.
Go for it.
Surely deception. You got lost in your book.
Deception. Yeah, good.
Oh, okay. Still 21.
I roll insight, which I'm not very good at. 6.
You promised.
All right, I trust you, and I trust that you didn't get lost in your books.
I didn't know how long the watch was supposed to be. I forgot to ask. That's my bad.
Well, you know for next time, yeah?
Of course.
Nothing bad happened, Sasha. It's fine.
See, nothing bad happened. Well,
This time, that doesn't mean you got away with it.
something bad did happen twice. I fell off the roof, and then Sasha fell off the roof.
Only because you broke the tiles where I was climbing up onto the roof.
Sorry, I missed that.
I mean, I'm sorry that I broke the tiles on my falling off the roof. I didn't realise you falling off the roof was my fault as well.
Anyway,
So if that's all concluded,
Yes, of course. So sorry. Where was the original point of incursion?
everywhere.
Interesting. I was rather hoping for a contained area
There was no
that we
single
could investigate.
the there was like this wave that just sort of washed over the island, and as it traveled, these creatures just appeared.
Did anything else change at the same time, like vegetation or anything like that?
Yeah, now that you mention it, there were some other changes. No change in landmarks or anything. No new hills appeared or anything like that. But the plant life. Yeah.
So, Mazdak, if we're talking about time
Quite.
changes, maybe these are the original inhabitants of this island,
Very
and the two time streams, timelines,
Merged.
time whatever, have sort of merged together.
Yes, indeed. That is a highly likely scenario. But I must find somebody called Jakoto,
Why must you
Okay.
find Jakoto?
because I have to speak to them.
Yeah, but where did you get that name from? That wasn't in the briefing. That's not what he said.
Dalen,
Yes.
this name rings a bell to you.
Okay.
Make a history check.
10.
Can't quite place it, but it does ring a bell.
Well, you see, I was researching, and I came across this name, and I think I need to speak to them.
I think I recognize that name, but I don't know what from.
Huh,
I'll think on it.
good, thank you.
Where is this person based?
I don't know.
So it's just a random name.
Yep.
They could be alive, dead, anywhere in the world.
Well, hopefully they're not dead, because I have to speak to them.
Okay. Maybe that's something you put on the back burner. You know, we're not going to drop everything and just scour the world for
I
the person.
didn't suggest that we would. All I
You said we
was
have to speak to them.
I have to speak to them. I didn't say, let's drop everything, I have to speak to them. I just said, we have to speak to them. You really ought to listen more carefully, Biv Knox. You seem to sort of take my words and then put meaning into it that isn't really there.
Well, you seem to get hyper-focused on certain things, you know. So I just assumed that when you get an idea in your head that you have to then do it there and then.
I think you are reading again into my character when you've known me for all of about 4 days.
I think I know you well enough.
Okay.
There's a bang on the table.
Anyway,
If you guys are quite finished, did bring breakfast. We need
breakfast.
to head out. And the bang was him slamming this box, which he sort of unfolds.
Getting upset with the bickering idiots. Yeah, I know.
It's a plate of bacon sandwiches.
Nice.
This is the bacon of the wild boar on the island. It's very good.
Very acceptable. Thank you, brother.
thank you.
Now, I trust you can all ride horseback. Yes?
Of course.
If you have one big enough.
Yeah,
Don't
we got.
know.
Don't know.
I've never ridden a horse.
Okay.
You can ride with me if you'd like,
I
Bivna
will
and
learn.
Mazdak.
I'm very good at learning.
It takes time and practice. There's no time to just learn on the fly.
Surely it's just, there must be a set of rules. You can follow the rules, and therefore you know how to ride. Do you
No.
have a book?
Could one of you two explain that there's no manual of how to ride a horse?
Like people, horses have their own distinct personality, and if they don't like you, they won't do as they're told.
Oh,
And they may well throw you off and kill you.
right. Fine. Okay. Yes, I will ride with someone then.
Yeah.
Bivnox, can you
Oh yeah.
Hmm. Bibnox, actually, do you? I presume that you're from Vakilia, yes?
Yes.
I spent a little time there a few years ago. Called in to deal with a particularly nasty nest of blister spiders.
Ah, my
I have,
speciality.
I have a great respect for those that have to deal with those creatures regularly. So,
You're welcome. Yeah, not everyone's cut out to deal with them, but you want them dealt with. You want the silk. You hire the best.
I did hear tales of one particularly good hunter.
Oh, did you? Was it me?
I never got their name.
It
Anyway,
was probably me.
Well, as fascinating as this all is, I believe we have a job to do. Has the mayor
Hey,
decided on how we want to deal with these creatures?
That was a bit rude. We were talking about me.
so you'll let these two bicker, but we're actually having a real conversation, and that's too
Yeah,
much.
she's quite rude. So you just have to
Really? Okay, so anyway, the mayor said I am free to decide how we deal with his situation.
Well,
So-
I agree with destruction over containment.
My apologies, but I thought, this was quite a pressing matter considering they're destroying your island and everything. But if you want to stop for a chat, then by all means.
Oh, it's that pressing that we're sitting around eating bacon sandwiches, Sasha.
They're very good.
Calm your tip.
They are. Hunted that boar myself. Let's go then. We'll go to the stables on the east side.
Well,
Okay.
And he takes you through the town. The town, it takes a minute walking. It's a small place. It's sort of at its longest extent's 400 meters across, so it's not very big at all. You get over to the east side, close to his house, and there's stables there, and there's a good number of horses. There are dozens of horses that are either in the stables or roaming around a contained field.
I'm just going to take a moment to walk down the horses and see if any of them react more favourably towards me.
Okay. Make an animal handling check. You certainly know your way around horses.
18.
18? Yeah, you go past a couple and none of them react badly to you, but you know your experience with horses that you can just click with a horse. And you get to the sort of fourth horse that you run down on, and it just sort of instantly seems to take to you.
Very well, you're with me.
Okay.
I'll just go for the biggest.
Yeah, you can
Otherwise,
go.
people drag on around.
There's a couple of enormous sort of Shetland style horses up there. So yeah, you can find something big enough for you.
probably go for like a medium-sized one.
Just-
Probably
That's not what I meant.
No.
They are very small. Yes,
Some sort
too
of,
many requirements in brain.
some sort of Suffolk punch
If it was the
style.
Shetland pony, it would have been very funny.
What are the? Oh, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. You'll find a massive horse. It's yours. Bivnox, were you looking for?
Yeah, I'll probably go for one that's probably a little bit too big than for what I actually need, because I probably only need a small horse because I'm a goblin, but I don't want to be shown up, so sort of like a medium-sized horse.
Fair enough.
Put him on one of those miniature ponies.
And Mazdak, were you just gonna go along with Sasha then?
Absolutely not.
Okay, not Sasha.
No.
Hide behind Dalen.
Well, The horse Dalen's pit's quite big, but I'm a bit worried that it will not be big enough for me as well. So I'm going to get on the same one that Bivnox is on, because we're both small.
And he picked one that was slightly too big for him.
So I figured that the best thing to do would be to have 2 small people on one horse, rather than a big person and a small person.
That makes sense to me. Bivnox, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
So how do you make it go?
Just watch and learn, my friend.
Okay.
So, are you just standing there on the horse, Bivnox? Are you going to try?
No, I'll try and make it go. Now I've got someone watching me.
Do you actually have any experience of, like, you can decide in the moment? I'm happy for you to.
I probably would have ridden them occasionally, but I wouldn't say I'm
Okay.
a seasoned horse rider.
Fair enough. Well, make an animal handling check. Just a straight roll. If you've got some experience.
11.
Okay, it doesn't immediately kick you off, but it's not moving. It just sort of turns in place and looks back to the stables. And
I'll style out and say, yeah, sometimes they do this. It's probably because there's 2 of us on here, but you just have to persevere. Maybe you should have a go. You have to like coax it to talk to it.
Okay. And I will speak to the horse in its head.
okay.
And telepathically say, hello, we'd quite like to go forwards, and I'll sort of give the idea of moving forwards with the wind rushing past its head and that sort of thing.
Your ability to speak in creatures' heads, does that go into their language or
I can communicate simple ideas and concepts with any creature within 30 feet as long as it understands at least one language. I don't know that, so I'm trying anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. I would say as tamed horses, they would understand some common words that they've been trained with, like go or halt or whatever words you use to teach horses. So consider that, you trying to push forward the word forward, it would understand that.
Okay.
And it moves. It just starts trotting in that direction.
And, again, I will in its head. Oh, thank you very much. This is very exciting.
As it just trots off.
Bivnox, it works.
Well, I taught you well.
Quite.
And Dalen, what's your general experience with horses?
Limited. I have ridden before, but being my size, it's not easy to find horses that are trained for riding that are my size. So I have ridden before, but nowhere near a sort of expert horseman.
Yeah. Certainly in your homeland, they're not that common. Occasionally, you might see some, so you'd have possibly got some experience. So I was just looking at large horse. Yeah, like a Shire horse.
Yeah.
Not a Shetland. Dayland on a Shetland. That would be fun. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you can make a quick animal handling as well, just to make sure it doesn't try to murder you.
So no one else's D&D Beyond gone down?
I haven't refreshed mine.
18.
No, mine seems to be okay.
I've just hit the old F5 and it's given me a white screen.
I'm not touching mine just in case it does.
Yeah.
That would be wise.
Well, I didn't touch mine. It just automatically went at me. So
18 for the animal handling.
Okay.
Mine's absolutely fine.
Clearly this horse is very happy to have such a large creature. Like, it feels like, you and me let's do this. I think Mike's coming back. So yeah, you get on. There's a nice, good feeling between the two of you, and yeah, he's quite happy to trot off with you.
Cool.
So the three of you, led by Sheriff Brooke, is go and wander out the paddock, trot out of the paddock. So we need to head east and south a bit, and I'll show you some of the things that I've seen. We've got some enormous long-necked things. They've been eating the tops of trees. They don't seem to pay any attention to us. But there's, of course, the danger that they just trample through the town, and that's bad. We've got some smaller things, also plant eaters, and they've got all sorts of spikes and I don't know, plates and things. And these also don't seem to pay much attention, eating the plants. But I've seen a few of those be taken down and eaten by some larger predator types. They don't tend to work in packs. They just sort of hunt solo. But
How many in total of these creatures do you think there are, Sheriff?
I have seen maybe 100
Okay.
different creatures of various species.
And how many of these carnivorous predators?
Maybe 2 or 3 large carnivores. But if I know anything about the natural animal world, there's not just going to be singular large carnivores, there's going to be smaller pack hunter carnivores too. That's just a niche that is found in the world. But there's something else we need to head towards the mountain for. But he takes you around, and you spend a good while sort of not beelining for where his ultimate destination, but sort of looping around these migrating herds of these large herbivore beasts on the plains, or what are now the plains.
Has anyone sent word to the other village to see if they have the same problem?
I send a messenger as soon as that happens, but it takes a couple of days to get there, a couple of days to get back. But so yeah, he wanders around. There's a pond where there's lots of these things. You do at one point see this enormous head from over the top of some trees. He looks dangerous, but Brooke just keeps you going. Yeah, heads down. Yeah, and this is strange. This is like nothing you've seen or read before. These enormous creatures that are just now existing in the world that didn't a few days ago. Is anyone doing anything in particular, or just following the tour?
I'm just following the tour, occasionally telling the horse that it's brilliant and thank you very much, and it's just, yeah. I found
Are
a
you
friend.
saying that out loud, or?
No, in my head. Well, I'll say some of it out loud.
I'll just chuckle if I hear you talking to the horse.
Oh, don't listen to him. But apart from that, no, not really.
Fair enough. Anyone else?
Just enjoying the experience, because it's like this is something that's never experienced before, and all new experiences are always good.
I'll just be keeping an eye out, just trying to get a lay of the land, really. Get my bearings where we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be just sort of watching the behaviour of some of the creatures that we've seen.
Fair
So trying to fathom what some of their intentions are. if I can.
Okay. Let's have you make an insight check then. Try and gather things. Bivnox, you'll make a survival check. Judge you
19.
19.
I think it's
Uh,
8, but I haven't got my sheet, so I can't double check. I think I've got a +1 to my insight. So
Okay.
I rolled a 7. So regardless, it's not very high.
Yeah. Okay, these are absolutely brand new creatures. It's difficult to get an understanding of how they're going to behave, how they are or are going to behave or react to things. Bivnox, you're very accustomed to traveling new areas and taking note of the major landmarks and understanding your whereabouts in relation to where you previously were and things. So yeah, you create a sort of land map in your head as you're traveling along.
Yeah.
But you keep going, and there are some slightly smaller creatures, some faster, some slower, and bigger and smaller, and basically everything. And then you start to head towards the mountain. And as you get into a wooded area, Brooke slows down, and he sort of gives a gesture of just take the pace off a second. We need to be quiet here. And he just sort of casually trots through. And then you start to see the light at the end of the trees that you're currently in, and he sort of slows down further, but doesn't quite break that tree line. Sort of just wheels his horse round. There's something else here that I needed you to see. Very curious. Be very quiet. We do not want to draw attention to ourselves. In fact, I suggest we leave the horses here and we go on foot for a moment.
Okay, I will drop off the horse, give it a pat, and say, "Well, thank you very much for the ride. If you stay here, because we wouldn't want anything to happen to you, and we will be back very shortly."
Very good.
I will dismount gracefully and give the horse a pat and then sort of tie it loosely so it won't wander off.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brooke assists anyone off and sets the horses up, tied around sort of separate trees, so they've got a bit of space to move. There's to the tree line, and he gets up to a tree, and then sort of peers around and shows you, and you see some humanoids. They are small, halfling-esque, but even hairier than your average halfling. They're
Men.
sorry,
Cavemen.
cavemen. they're not really dressed in anything. Maybe like a little bit of hide of some sort, just covering the important bits. And yeah, there's a little settlement of little stick huts with sort of leaf roofs on.
And this, you say, wasn't here before?
This was most certainly not here. These are new. They came with those creatures.
This is definitely some kind of time manipulation.
Yeah. There's more. They're curious. I'm curious of them. Wait, here. And you just hear footsteps, like rumble, big rumble that's increasing. Look over towards the tree line over there, and as you do, one of these creatures comes wandering out of the tree line over to your right, followed by one of these little hairy halflings. There is a pack on the back of this creature. It's sort of laid over its back, and there's sort of pockets down either side. They've tamed these as pack animals.
Interesting.
Not all of these things are just mindless monsters. They're interesting animals.
And have you spoken to them at all?
No, I've heard them communicating. They can sort of communicate with each other, general thoughts, but they don't really talk. So I've kept my distance. They may be primitive, but their spears are still sharp, I'm sure. So this kind of leads us back to the what do we do with all these things?
We need to find a way of reversing the time slip so that these people are back in their own time.
That would be the best solution.
Because just obviously destroying things won't help.
And how do you suggest we do that?
I hate to say it, but we need to speak to Chakotay.
And how do you suggest we do that?
I don't know. Dalen, did you remember anything about Chakotay?
Did I remember anything about Chakotay?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
You can do a check again at some point, but not every 15 minutes.
It's back up again.
Okay, good.
No, I'm sorry, brother. It just tickled something in my mind, but I cannot put my finger on it yet.
I see.
No.
Okay. So, should we go and talk to these people?
Well, it may be hard if we cannot communicate with them.
Well, we
We
can.
can know until we try.
Hey, I would suggest not.
Oh,
I mean, they may well see us if they're from a different time. They see us, they may think we're enemies and just attack. They may be scared. They may have a fear response.
There are more of them than there are of us five here.
How many of them are there?
You've probably seen 15 to 20 of them.
Right.
But there's been a few that have come in and out of the tree line. So there could be quite a few. There's quite a few huts as well. So.
is there anybody that's being treated with deference? Is there a kind of leader or somebody who appears to be in charge?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
See if you can.
18.
18. Yeah, there's an elderly fellow. He's sort of grey haired all over, and you sort of presume that means he's elderly. And he sat down, and plenty of these creatures have come up and grunted various things at him. And
How far away from them are we, or from him are we?
so you're probably at least 100 feet.
Okay.
Tree line's quite a way back. They're in kind of a bit of a clearing at the base of this mountain, but there's trees. There's a tree line all on all other sides.
Okay. So, if we see that they appear to have some kind of leader, would it not be better to talk to him and find out if there's anything that we can assist with, or explain what is going on, perhaps?
You could try.
Okay. I'm gonna take out my book and sort of flick to a page and just run my fingers down some of the lettering and mumble to myself and use my awakened spellbook to instant cast a ritual spell.
Okay.
So I will then cast comprehend languages.
Mm.
And I can now, for the next hour, understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that I hear.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that and walk directly out to...
As he starts to walk, I'll
towards-
just grab him by the scruff of his neck and pull him back and say, "You will probably die if you go out there."
No, it'll be fine. I'll just talk to them.
Okay,
And just
I'll let him go.
walk out. And just sort of...
Okay.
I'll put my book back in my bag and have my hands clearly visible. And walk out. Okay. Hello.
There are shouts and confusions and lots of these creatures turn and face and grab for things and get in front of the elder.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello. I don't mean any harm. I just come to speak to you. I am Mazdak.
comprehend languages doesn't allow you to be understood by them, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
But once I'm within 30 feet of someone, I will use my telepathic skills.
Okay.
To convince people that I'm not a threat. I just come to talk to them.
Okay. So yeah, you've got like a line of these people sort of holding up sharpened sticks
Literally.
in your direction. There's various mumblings of words which you sort of pick up on, of like, what the? Who's this guy? Various kind of confusions.
So once I'm in range of the elder, I will speak directly to him in his mind.
Yeah.
Say,
So
"Hello." Yeah.
yeah.
I'm Mazdak. I have come to talk to you, if that's okay.
He sort of looked up at you as you were talking, a bit kind of quizzical, and then like gestures hand to one of the people around him to help him up. And he sort of gets them to part. They're not going anywhere, he's just sort of stood in between. Who are you?
I am Mazdak. Very pleased to meet you. And I'm saying this out loud as well as voice in his head.
Okay. Where from?
I'm from across the water.
How?
Yeah.
How do you cross water?
It's complicated. I think you and I are from different times.
Confused look.
Yeah. Mazdak's just realising that perhaps this was not the best plan. So, my friends and I, and I'll gesture back to the tree line, live over beyond the trees, and they are worried that you are in danger, so they want to help.
We need no help.
Okay, so there is nothing that we can do for you.
Turns as someone sort of said something to him, and you hear him sort of say, maybe taste good.
I really don't taste good.
And the person that he spoke to begins to advance.
Mazdak's
And then
just
the
gonna
others
a
do.
little bit back up a little. Okay, fine. This was a bad plan. I understand. I'm going to leave now. And just sort of continue backing up and backing up.
If they make any gesture to try and get him, Dalen's going to come roaring out of the forest, shouting and screaming and waving his hammer around,
Okay.
intimidating me as much as he possibly can.
Okay.
For the love of God.
So they sort of start stepping towards you, like in unison.
Again, holding my hands up and backing away, smiling. I mean, obviously, no harm.
And then they run. They charge at you.
Okay, so Dalen's going to come running out and try and scare them off a little bit, bearing in mind he's nearly 7 foot tall and
Yeah.
massive.
These are 3 foot tall type
Yep.
things.
I'm going to cast Grease.
Grease.
Yeah.
Grease lightning.
So they have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
13. It's a 10-foot radius, just in front of me where they're coming.
Okay. Cool.
As they're doing that, I'm going to turn and belt back towards Dalen.
Okay. So these things start running at you. You drop Grease on the floor. Most of them slip on it. There's 3 that managed to get through. Just sort of, they were in the back and they saw it and had enough time to sort of plan their footwork. And you make it to the tree line as Dalen comes out roaring. Make an intimidation check for me, Dalen. I think I've switched yours to use your strength.
You did. 24.
Okay. So you come out absolutely roaring out of this tree line, and the 3 things that are like, they stop and turn and run back. And the line sort of reforms, and they're just sort of chanting at you, but they're not advancing.
Okay, then I'll just move back as long as Mazdak's past me. I'll walk backwards into the forest again and just sort of disappear into the tree line.
The old Homer Simpson gif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that went quite badly. I tried to explain about the different time zones and the time slip and being not from here but across the water, and that just seemed to confuse them. Then they talked about eating me, so I...
Remember when I said you don't need to tell everybody everything? This is one of those occasions.
Well,
And maybe if I say they are probably going to kill you, they probably will kill you.
yes, but you can't just, blast everything you come across. You have to try to talk to people.
Well, I said we should have just left them all alone.
Yeah.
That was probably
It
the
needs to
best
be-
plan.
It didn't need to be talk to them or kill them. We can just leave.
Yes, that's a very good plan. We should do that.
And I think we should do that now.
I think that's a good idea. I've already unhooked the horses. Let's go.
I will get on the horse and just be very quiet.
So you can hear fading.
Hey, though, with me coming roaring out of the forest with an intimidation check of 24, would that scare the crap out of Mazdak as well?
Probably. But
Wasn't
that's over to
concentrating on
you.
you. I was running past you.
Fair enough.
So
So you start to move. Brooke had sort of galloped next to the horse, and then sort of swung his leg up to get on fairly quickly. And he's just sort of leading the way out. You hear the chanting dying down as you're traveling away through the trees. There's a bit of sort of I don't know, trumpeting type noises coming from the creatures that you'd seen they were using as pack animals. Big armored face with spikes, Triceratops type creature. They were using, and but they don't seem to come after you. So we'll take a quick break there, I think.
Okie dokie.
Seems a good spot.
I will do the thing. So we will be back very shortly, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. welcome back. I will hand you across to our wonderful DM.
Welcome back. So, after that encounter with the tribesfolk, Sheriff Brooke stops a while away from there and just sort of says, well, that was pretty close. I was just going to show you those people. I wasn't necessarily going to try and interact with them. They're as much victims here as we are.
Well, yes, I did try to explain to them that there was danger, but they didn't really want to know. So.
Well, I suspect that they know all about these creatures and they're pretty comfortable with them. Well, they seem to have a few.
I was kind of meaning us.
Anyway, you meant well, I suppose.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's just there's a fragile ecosystem here on the island, and I suppose that where they're from, it's a fragile ecosystem too. Unfortunately, theirs is a bit bigger than ours. So I think we should head back to town. I've left people organizing some defenses. So they were to be chopping down trees, making a wooden barricade, try and fortify the town. So by the time we get back, I think it's going to be into the evening. And then we're going to need to spend tomorrow, if you're okay with that, helping to fortify the town. Making sure we've got some defenses, some physical barrier. Stop things from coming in.
I thought we were more tracking and killing rather than manual labour.
Can you not do both?
Well, we'll probably have to negotiate a different rate.
Is manual labour worth more than tracking and killing? If it is, I'm in the wrong job.
Well, it's not my skill set, but I'll give it a go.
Well, it's not necessarily just chopping down trees, making logs, sticking them in the ground. Some of the townsfolk might need some training on how to use some weaponry. We're primarily a hunting town, so the creatures on this island, the old creatures on this island, are rare and only really found here, and that's how we, make our place in the world.
I have some experience in that area.
Okay, good. So we used to just carefully monitoring the ecosystem, taking down a few of the rare animals. When they get too big, we can skin them, sell the meat, sell the furs. But what we do with these new creatures, I don't know. Anyway, let's start heading back. Keep an eye out for anything that might be dangerous and anything that might be heading towards the town.
Of course.
Starts to gallop off. So as we're traveling, is there anything you want to do? Any checks you want to make? Looking out for any particular dangers or trying to discern anything? James, mute or unmute.
Yeah, I was saying, but just look out for anything that might be trying to eat us.
Yeah, I'll be doing the same. Just sort of lay the land, keep an eye out for any of that.
I just want to look out for anything magical, any kind of strange phenomena that shouldn't be here. So any kind of power sources, any kind of rift or spell type things, so that because there must be a way, Mazdak thinks, of reversing this. Now, whether it's local or whether we have to go back to a rift somewhere, that's what he's trying to work out.
Okay.
I want to keep an eye out for anything that might be tracking us.
Okay. So, I think perception, survival, nature checks, whatever you guys want to make. Arcana check for Mazdak, I think. You'll
Okay.
do more magical things.
9. I see nothing.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
10.
17 perception.
So 9 and a 10 for you guys. Not really seeing anything that you didn't see before. Mazdak, looking out for magical things. You've got a keen eye for this kind of thing, but you're not really seeing much.
Okay.
Like with the toads in the trees, the angler toads, the magical effect that brought them here was just a brief, instantaneous thing, and what was collided together through that event is just a collision of two separate things, time periods, or whatever you think they are. And yeah, no real lingering magical effect there.
Okay. Worth a shot.
Yes. Bivnox, as the travelling occurs, your sort of keen tracking eye picks up on particular noises that are coming from south. These are lots of little chitters and screeches and things. You can't see anything at the moment, but there definitely seems to be a group of something in that direction. Do you wanna... The sheriff doesn't hear anything.
I'll probably mention it to Sasha. There's a noise over there. Can you hear that?
Yeah, now it's pointed out, you can hear these little chirps and screeches and noises.
Worth investigating, do you think?
Know thy enemy and all that.
You
I think
seem
maybe-
like you can be the quieter type. I tend to be a bit more gung-ho.
I've noticed that. You're quite loud. I heard you. Even though I was asleep, you woke me up when you fell off the roof last night.
Yes, well, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, so if you feel it's worth investigating, then...
Okay, if you want to stay here, I'll go and have a look.
Shout if you need us.
I'll, stay away from the caravan and go and investigate this noise.
Hey, where are you off to?
I can hear something.
Well, I'll come with. You three stay here.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm on the back of Bivnox's horse.
You're with Bivnox then. You two stay.
I figured
Maybe we should... Yeah, you get off, Mazdak, just a moment. Go on Sasha's horse just for a minute. We don't want you to get into,
Okay, I will
danger.
get off the horse.
So as you head in that direction, the noises get a little bit louder, stronger, and you come to a little cliff top. It's only sort of 20-30 feet down, but as you sort of reach the edge of that, you can see pack of probably 4 or 5 feet tall at the back, 2-legged, feathered, sharp claws, sharp teeth, and there must be 15 to 20 of these things. Well, that doesn't look good.
Have you seen those before?
Not seen them before.
This isn't good. Which direction are they going?
At the moment, they're not moving.
Okay.
They're just sort of, Well, What do you think? You've seen plenty of creatures, predators.
I haven't seen anything like this before.
No, me neither.
And there's quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't think we could handle it.
I would agree.
Let's back away from this and go the other direction, or just steer away from this bit.
Let's just do me a quick stealth check.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no, it's not too bad. 16.
18 from the sheriff. So you managed to get there, have a good look, back off without any notice. Well, as you get back, there seems to be a large pack. Bivnox, what's your thoughts? What do we want to do?
Well, we can't take them. There's too many. Unless Mazdak's got a spell which can take them all out in one hit.
Well, I mean, I can
No,
probably.
he doesn't.
No, I would have to research to find a spell that would do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do a few.
Are
but
they?
not all of
Do
them.
they look like they're going to attack anytime soon? Or are they keeping to themselves? You said you'd never seen these creatures before, Sheriff.
So you know what, I can put one of those in. And just dropped one into the Roll20 thing. So have a look.
Who's that clever girl?
Clever girl.
For those at home, want to see what we're up against.
And look, it's the size of the town.
Oh,
It's like a Godzilla sort of thing.
yeah.
So yes, this is a Deinonychus, or what you might know from Jurassic Park as a Velociraptor, but incorrectly named. Yeah, and there's a worryingly sized pack.
We could set a trap to lead them into some kind of large pit. But we don't know how smart these creatures are. They might be able to get out of such a thing if we're not careful.
They may be entirely harmless. We don't know.
It would be unusual for creatures such as this with sharp teeth and claws to be harmless, but it is worth noting that that is a possibility.
How many were there? 15 to 20, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have seen plenty of the herbivorous animals can also have very sharp appendages. But in this case, I'm pretty sure they're predators, pack hunters.
Well, if we cannot take them by ourselves, then it is best, I think, to head back to the village and prepare defenses, because if they attack there, we'll need as many people as we can to defend against them.
I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, we have some considerable skill here, but we need numbers.
Fighting these things out in open grassland is suicide. Our best defense is going to be height. We can prepare the townsfolk, get on top of buildings, bring arrows.
I still think maybe digging some trenches that will at least slow them down, if not stop some of them.
Well,
That-
maybe we could do that around the perimeter wall of the town.
That's a good
Like
idea.
a moat.
Nope. Okay. Well, we should get back to town then.
Yes, I can.
Hightail it back.
So you're sort of 10 miles away to the east or so at this point. and you can get back to town pretty quickly.
As you said about creating defences in the morning, I think we should start now and work through tonight.
Yeah.
It would be a bit silly if we all went to bed and got attacked during the night.
I agree.
Yeah. So we need to tell the townspeople.
Yes.
You guys are the hired experts here. Do you guys want to speak to them? I don't know who's the leader. Who's the leader out of you?
We don't really have a leader.
Sasha believes she's the leader.
I believe no such thing, Bivnox.
But yes, I believe we can divide up and organise this town with some sort of rocky montage, no doubt.
Okay, I'll call a meeting. You decide who's going to do the talking. Don't have all four of you. I've heard bickering when that happens between you.
Yeah.
So just nominate someone to do the talking.
Are we the Seven Samurai? Is that what's happening here? We're organising the village.
Yeah.
Okay, no, absolutely, I'm up for that.
So who wants to do the talking? I'm not much of a talker.
I suspect, however, we're more like the Three Amigos than the Seven Samurai.
Yes. I think maybe Sasha should do the talking. I am not really
Well, it
the sort of
really
person
does
to
depend
inspire
on.
confidence in others. They're usually more scared of me than anything else.
Well, I'm quite good at talking. It depends on what we're talking about. Information is kind of my thing.
That is true, but you just don't know when to shut up.
Well, I think you'll find that I do know when to shut up. I'm incredibly skilled at imparting information to people. Also,
You give too much information, and for some, that's a bit overwhelming. We need to keep it short, concise, and to the point.
I could do that.
You mustn't forget a lot of people are not as intelligent as you.
Well, that's okay. I'll just speak slowly.
I will do the talking.
Very well.
Told you she was the leader.
So as you'd been discussing that, Brooke had gone off. There was a bell rang, and you could hear that, and that's clearly the sign for a town meeting, and everyone gathers in the main square. Right then, over to you.
Good day, townsfolk. My name is Sasha, and these are my associates. We are here to help this village. There seems to have been an issue with some rifts causing creatures that don't normally reside on this island to appear. So we need to build some defenses against such creatures in case they decide to attack. Now, we want to try and keep everybody as safe as possible. So we will be sorting everybody into groups. So we'll have people cutting down trees and preparing barricades. We'll have those digging moats, and those best suited can come with me, and I will train in some basic sword fighting and weaponry skills. Any questions?
Mazdaki's desperately trying not to put his hand up.
There's general sort of murmurings in the town had sort of heard of these random creatures, but suddenly it's becoming a fortify the town, batten down the hatches type situation, so it's a bit worrying to them.
I know you're all scared, but if we all band together and work hard, then there's nothing that we can't achieve. But we need everybody on board for this.
Are the monsters coming? Are they coming here?
We don't know for sure, but we want to be prepared for every eventuality.
Can we even kill them?
Anything can be killed.
I can't think of any more questions. There's a few more questions that you handle deftly. Yeah, so you're going to split them up into groups. How are you splitting them?
Anyone in the crowd experienced in cutting down trees and preparing and building?
Yeah, definitely a good few hands go up.
Dalen, are you okay to be in charge of that group?
Yep.
Marvellous. Head to my friend Dalen here. Anyone good at digging or carting away of earth so we can build some trenches to try and slow down progress in case anybody was to appear?
What was that?
My next door neighbour.
Wow.
Okay. There are less hands that go up. A few of them actually kind of go off and sneak away to the wood cutting section. I'd rather chop wood than dig holes. But there's a few people, probably not enough.
Bivnox, are you all right to be in charge of that?
I don't think that's really my skill set, to be honest.
What would be your skill set?
Well, I'll train a crack team of archers that can sit on the perimeter wall. And...
Fair enough. You can be in charge of training with bows and arrows. I will do melee fighting.
Sounds like they're attacking already.
Yeah.
With power drills.
Mazdak, I'm sure you can figure out what proportions would be necessary to build suitable trenches.
Oh, I'm in charge of trench building. How exciting.
You seem like the man for the job. You can
Yes,
determine
because of
how
my-
big these should be.
Because of my great strength, obviously.
Well, you're directing them. You're not doing it. You're in charge. You're the engineer.
Quite.
What would you like to do instead? Maybe we could gather a group of villagers and you can teach them to read, because that will help.
Yes, I'd be certainly up for that.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the crowd that has any
I was
magical
joking.
ability? Perhaps? Is there anybody that has any magical ability in the crowd?
There's 2 hands that go up.
Marvellous. Okay,
Fine, if you want to work on some magical defences, we'll get whatever his name is, the Dragonborn, to deal with the trenches.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
anyone who has any experience with a bow, to Bivnox. Anyone who wants to train with some melee weaponing, to me. Anyone with magical ability, to Mazdak. Everybody else, to the Dragonborn.
Fair enough. Good work. There's a good split of people. There's probably a few less people excited to do the trench digging, but there's enough people. Okay, so you're working through the night, training and building.
I think mostly building through the night, chopping down trees and putting up defences.
We'll probably do training for a few hours until it gets dark, because then it would be difficult to sort of see targets and things. But
By the time the meeting is finished, it's getting pretty dark.
we'll do a couple of hours, because if they attack during the night, they're going to need to know what to do it anyway. So
I will just ask the people that have magical ability what kind of magical ability they have. Are they wizards? Are they healers? Are they...
So one of them is the town healer. she yeah, brain freeze. Yeah, she's like, I can do some healing.
That's excellent.
That I'm a bit scared though.
It's okay. Sasha and Bivnox and Dalen are very clever at what they do. They can protect us.
Okay, thank you. And the other says, I can't do much. Just this really, and he just like throws a firebolt into the dirt.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. Well done. But firebolts will be very useful. The creatures will probably be afraid of fire, so we could use that to discourage them and make them run away.
Good.
Or burn them to a crisp. Whichever is the best.
Maybe they taste good.
Indeed. Perhaps we could have a roast creature.
Good. Okay. What do you want us to do?
Well, I think we need to get rest this evening, overnight, and just be ready to use your magics, healing or offensive, as is required.
Okay.
And I'll make a note of where they live in the town, so I can go and get them if we need them.
Yeah. Okay.
So for the tree chopping and stake building, putting a stake wall around the whole village would be a massive undertaking that would take too long. So it's probably more a case of just blocking all the roadways going into the village and using the buildings as barricades as well.
Yeah. I see. So you're going to try and fix logs between buildings, like in between the gaps to...
Well, really more like just putting like stake walls, pointed stake walls sticking out.
Yeah.
Blocking all the entryways between buildings.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like in sort of this gap over here, you're going to fix up that gap so nothing can get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe have one of the main roads just have a movable stake wall or something so we can actually still get in and out of the village.
Okay.
If needed.
So we'll let you get started on that.
We'd start with the side of the village that's towards where that pack of predators.
That would be the east side. Yeah. Okay.
And any houses like those two on the east that are just by themselves, we'd get them evacuated and brought in, because putting barricades up there would be ridiculous.
Of course. So, Sasha and Bivnox, you're doing a bit of training.
Yeah, I will divide up. Well, I'll assess the sort of their abilities and sort of divide them up, and position them across like the rooftops around the perimeter of the town.
Okay. The numbers that you've each got are weighted more towards the archery. The town, as Brooke sort of briefly explained, is sort of hunter-esque. So there are lots of hunters, people that are familiar with bows anyway. Not many people go out and sword fight a wild boar to get their breakfast. But there's definitely a few that take that up as an option. And you go for a couple of hours until people start to clearly wane and get hungry, get tired. It's night, they're scared.
Well, Sasha is also a little bit experienced with a bow, so she would understand that the bows are going to be primarily the best source of defense, but it may come to a point where they will need to use some kind of melee combat if they run out of arrows or their bow breaks or something along those lines. So it's always good to have extra skills.
Yeah, absolutely. So you work until sort of maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night, and the people are starting to get less willing at this point.
Good work, team. I think it's always a good time now to have some rest, because we need to be fully rested and ready to go in case something were to happen. Be on your guard.
Right. Can we go get some sleep now?
Some food and some rest is what's ordered now.
Thank
You
you.
hear the bell, get to your positions.
Right. And yeah, people are sort of starting to half wander away. You, Bivnox, you were organising people on rooftops?
Yeah.
You presumably going to organise some sort of watch for that, so people can take shifts.
Yeah, I'll put them in groups so that they can rotate between them. It's like clumps of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 people. So one
Yeah,
person can rest.
yeah. It's tense. People understand that they need to be really on guard, but this is new. This is scary. Tensions are high. There's a couple of sort of squabbles that break out between people, and maybe you guys have to step in and just tell them to calm down. It's going to be okay. What makes things worse is it starts to rain, and now people are on slippy rooftops in the pouring rain. But the night begins. What are you guys doing through the night?
I'm going to go to sleep.
I'll position myself with the group that are closest to where we came in, like where we saw the people, the people, the creatures.
So you're going to be on the eastern side.
yeah, the eastern side. And I will go to sleep first because
Okay.
get some. I'll say to them, wake me up if you see anything.
I will take up the first watch on one of the roofs.
Okay. You near Bivnox or covering extra ground away from him?
If Bivnox is, we've got the road going out. If Bivnox is on one side of the road, I'll be on the other side.
You guys can move yourselves if you want to.
I can't.
Can't you?
No, I think from the first episode when I was unable to do stuff, it doesn't seem to work.
There you go. You've
I've got it now.
everyone else should be. Yeah, obviously, this isn't to scale. This isn't 5 feet squares, but
Yeah.
Where are you going, Bivnox?
So are we on the? So you said the eastern side.
yeah, the side you're currently is where.
So I'll probably position myself sort of like on the most eastern building.
Okay.
So probably that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go up there.
That's more of a sort of farmhouse type thing. It's only a single.
Yeah, that's been that one's been. Both of those buildings have been evacuated and brought
Okay.
in. Like
Well, I'll go here then, sort of like on the
that's probably better.
top. So I've got a nice clear line.
Mazdak, what are you doing?
I'll go down here somewhere.
I'm going to sleep.
Sleep. Darling, you said you were also going to sleep. Are you in the building or on the roof, or what are you doing?
I'd go up on the roof and just because I'd find a group that are around there somewhere and just sort of curl up.
Okay.
I'll get up on the roof but go to sleep.
Okay. There have been ladders lashed together and pulled together and put up. So each sort of building block has got at least one ladder so you can get up. Okay. So who's awake at the moment? Sasha and Bivnox.
No, I went to sleep.
You went to sleep.
Just
Sasha, make a perception check then.
15.
Okay. While the night is young and the creatures, when you last saw them, were sort of 10 miles away, there was no sign that they were particularly heading in this direction, so everything you've done is precautionary. And you can't hear them. You can try and keep your ear out, but they're a long way away, and there's noise from the rain and from the worried mutters of those around you. It is oddly quiet, just with the grey noise of rain. But a couple of hours go by, and you sit there, you're soaked through. Nothing's happening. So,
Okay. I'll just sort of look over to where Bivnox is and see if he gets woken up for a watch.
yeah, so we'll say that the people in each block are sort of signalling to each other to change shifts and wake people up. If not, you get a nudge.
Anything to report?
Oh, very quiet.
Good.
Too quiet.
Don't let it get to you.
Okay.
Get some rest.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Very sort of hunched up and. You going to sleep? Sleep, Sasha? Okay. Bivnox. Perception check on your watch.
21.
21. Nice. So there are some noises. There are in the distance still, in the direction that you came from during the day. There are noises, and you can't quite make out like the same chitters and screeches that you heard when you were up close to them in the day. It's more sort of pained roars of larger creatures. And as a tracker, you may well deduce that they are nocturnal hunters, and they've just taken something large down.
I won't wake up the people that have fallen asleep, but I'll just be on high alert. I'll have the crossbow out and I'll be high alert.
It's difficult to tell with the landscape and the trees. It sort of muffles and rebounds the noise.
Yeah.
All included with the rain. It's impossible to tell whether it's any closer or further away than it was than when you saw them yesterday.
Probably if I can't see them very well, I'll be sort of, when you shut down one of your senses to try and heighten your others, I'll be paying attention to the sounds,
Do the thing where you can't quite hear the TV, so you just poke one ear towards it.
Yeah, like when you turn the radio down so you can park better.
Yeah. But that, you hear that a couple of times over a couple of hours. Again, difficult to tell distance. But you don't see anything in your radius.
Okay.
So, is anyone else going to do a watch, or are you leaving it to the...
Yeah, I'll do a watch. I'm up on the roof, so I'm quite happy to do the last one.
Everyone was up sleeping on roofs, weren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll happily take the dawn watch, because then I'll be able to see, because I don't have dark vision.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll say each of your watches is 2 hours each. Dalen, you get a nudge now. If not, you're free to relieve yourself. I mean, you would need to at some point during the night, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you want me to do a perception check?
And go for it.
12.
Difficult to hear anything. You think you can hear a roar, but was that thunder or was that creature?
Hmm.
Is that a lorry passing by the back of the house? It's tough to tell these things. But you sit and you listen, and you at some point have to like tell the people around you to quieten down because they're sort of nervously talking, and you can't quite cop on what it is, where it's coming from.
Okay.
And a couple of nervous hours go past. And the two you're on watch with can't sleep. Dalen, is it? Do we sleep? Should I wake others up?
No, I was on the last watch, so I'll just go through to daybreak.
No, we were doing 2-hour stints.
I was doing 4 watches of 2 hours each.
Oh, right, okay.
So you're on the third.
Well, I wouldn't be able to get a message over to Mazdak, so I'll just wake up one of my team and just get them to keep an eye.
They're sending signals across the rooftops.
Oh, right, okay.
Mazdak, you're awoken. Mr. Mazdak, sir, it's we need to keep an eye out.
Yes, indeed. I've done this before. If we just look very carefully, watch and listen, and if we see anything untoward, we will go and ring the bell and wake the entire town. And I'll make a quick perception check. That went well. 7.
Yeah, you're further back into the town. There's more bodies on rooftops that are sort of blocking, making noise. You're not picking up anything from the east.
See, everything is perfectly fine.
And the sun slowly rises. The night passes without any incident.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm assuming we can have our long rest then.
You can all have your long rest.
Yay, spell slots.
All of the townsfolk slowly make their way out into the town square to sort of discuss if anything was happened, if anybody was lost or during the night. It doesn't seem to have been the case.
I heard a lot of noise last night. I think they hunt during the night.
That would make sense.
So, if we wanted to take them down, if we were to go and do it during the day?
I mean, they would be surprised, first of all, but it wouldn't take them long to get over their surprise, I think.
Just an idea?
I think the best thing to do in these circumstances will be to hold fast and hope that whatever brought them here reverses and takes them all away again without any loss to anyone.
Well, as long as we've got hope, then that's fine.
Well, I know you don't like it when I talk, but I had an idea.
Oh, no.
Well, quite. Perhaps we could teleport back to the city and explain what's happening and get them to teleport a larger force of actual guards.
If they had that, they would have sent them here in the first place,
Well, no,
I believe.
we were sent to investigate and find out what was going on, were we not? And assist. So we've investigated, we found out what's going on, we go back and we tell them that this is not a job that 5 people can do. There needs to be a lot more. We cannot do anything here. We are a small force of investigators. We are not an army. What this place needs for defence is an army. We are not an army.
Can you send a message?
No, it's too far. We would need to use the teleporter, go back, explain what's going on. Then we can look for research ways to try and reverse the rifts. I think the rifts is the important thing. I need to speak to Chakotay.
You keep saying that name.
I do, indeed. It's important, I believe.
Taylor, do you want to make another history check now that Mazdax mentioned it again?
Okay.
He's all good.
Oh, natural 20
Oh,
for history for 20.
Jikoto. That name was mentioned to you once by Vastro.
Okay.
Jikoto is Vastro's general. On the ground, follows orders of the god, your god.
Ah, okay.
so yes, I think the plan should be to go back to the city, find Chakotay, talk to them, and then send an army of kind to help these people and defend until we can work out how to reverse the problem.
Would I know where Jikoto might be, whether it be in one of the main temples or something?
Jikoto is known as a nomad, basically. She goes where she's told, but no one else knows those orders, only her. The rumors are that she's immortal and just moves around whenever is necessary. There's no house to go and search. There's no temple that they particularly frequent. They pop up almost mythically, do a job, and disappear again. A job being, as you would know,
Yes.
an assassination.
Wet work. Yeah.
Wet work.
I think I remember that name.
Ah, good. Then we should go and find Chakotay.
She is a priest of sorts. A wandering nomadic priest. She just goes from place to place. Isn't based anywhere, so there's no way to find her.
Well, there must be a way to find. There's always a way to find someone.
Is there?
We have a tracker. Point at Bivnox.
But a tracker needs to have something to track.
Well, quite.
Yeah.
But do you know this Chakotay?
No, I don't know. I've never met her. I've just heard of her.
Okay, and you've heard of her in where? Where roughly? An area or a?
Just in general as a person.
Right.
I mean, I'm good, but I need a bit more to work with.
Okay, well, maybe if we go back to the city, we can do some more research.
You're very keen to get away from these front lines, aren't you?
Well, I don't think there's anything that we can really do, to be fair.
Well,
No.
finish the defences for one thing, 'cause we've only done one side of the town.
Well, yes, but my point still stands. There are 5 of us. We saw there are 15 or 20 of these things. Just that one group. Who knows how many more there are?
We're going to do it. We need to go there and come back in the same day.
Well,
Because
yes,
they're going to attack. They're
It's
going
a
to attack
teleport. Of course we
at
can.
night. I'm aware of how teleports work. I'm just
Well-
saying. You see, we're not going to get lost in research. We're not going to spend days in a library.
Well,
we're going to
that's
go
what I
and we're going to
suggested.
come back.
We need to report back so that everybody at the council is aware of what is occurring here. They can then send more troops to bolster the defences. Can be working on those whilst we do the research.
Whatever you feel you need to do, Mazdak, I'm going to stay here and help organise things.
Well, that's very noble of you, Sasha, but I don't see how that will help.
Well, why don't you go back and research and make a report while we continue finishing the defences, and then you can come back this evening with some reinforcements.
Well, I was going to send the reinforcements immediately, but yes, okay. Then we don't need to be here digging ditches and making walls. People who do that for a living can be here doing it much more efficiently than we can. Surely this is clear to everyone, even those of you who are not as clever as me.
Just going to roll my eyes, walk away, and get to work.
Well, okay.
Take Ilref with you.
Certainly. I will gather Ilreth and go to the teleporter.
Okay. Fair enough. The other Sasha's walked away. Bivnox and Dalen, are you staying?
Yeah, I'll go and finish the stake walls around, blocking off all the entryways with my crew.
Sasha doesn't believe that they're going to send anybody through, so she thinks that they're going to basically have to fend for themselves, so she might as well just get on with it.
Well, all of this is the Mage's fault, so fair enough. You can carry on. Mazdak. Sorry, it took me embarrassingly long to remember your name. Then
DM brain.
I've got it written in Discord here. I should just look at that. Mazdak. So you head back to the Hunter's Lodge to Sheriff Brooks' house. He's in there at the time.
I will explain the plan to him.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's worth a shot. Feel free. You know where the teleportation circle is.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you can bring some assistance back for tonight.
That was my plan. So as soon as I get through, I will speak to the mages and the council and send troops that will be more efficient at making defences and being able to defend the town than just 5 people.
Yeah, okay. Well, good luck, and we'll see you soon.
And I will teleport back to the city.
Okay. The rest of you are carrying on with what you started last night, building walls, digging ditches, training troops.
If I feel like they're adequately trained, then I would probably help with the ditch digging, because it seemed like there was not a lot of people that wanted to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, let's do... What's a training check?
Wisdom? Imparting your wisdom?
Imparting wisdom? Yeah. Yeah, do a wisdom check then, Sasha.
Charisma, like a teaching.
18.
18, nice. Yeah, okay. You come across well. You speak clearly and eloquently to people. You've been through enough training yourself to sort of emulate that role. There's nobody amongst that group who was quite as belligerent as you were during those periods, but you know. But you managed to get to a point where you're comfortable that they can handle themselves against a wild animal. They couldn't take you on in a sword fight, or they wouldn't do very well in a sword fight against another person. But to fight an animal, they'd probably do okay. Bivnox, you were training archers.
Yeah.
Let's do the same for you.
What? Wisdom?
Yeah. Depending on your attitude, feel free to modify that as you see fit.
Well, they're doing what I want them to do, so
Fair enough.
15.
15. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, when you started the training last night, that a lot of these people are comfortable with bows as it is, being a lot of hunters in there. And again, they're hitting the target more than they're missing, which is what you need. You're not sure how they would. Does anybody have any English that they can teach me? You're not sure how well they will handle a fast-moving target like these pack animals are likely to be, but they're comfortable enough hitting standing targets more often than not. And with not much time, that's as best you can get from them. That they're not dropping they're not dropping their bows, they're getting arrows out of their quivers, they're comfortable doing all that stuff. Dalen, you were wall building, barricade building.
Chopping down trees and building barricades and
Chopping trees, yeah.
And I'm very good at that because I'm big and strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And these people have built all their own houses. The town's been built by the people. They're comfortable chopping trees.
Okay.
And forming them. But let's just do a generic. Just roll me a D100.
D100. Okay. 68.
68. Good stuff. So that's the percentage of how far around the town you get in that period. Obviously, starting from the very east and working in two directions around it, you get 2/3 around the town. And the western side, you think there's nothing coming from that side, but that coupled with the ditch will stop them from traveling around particularly quickly. You should be able to track them. The three of you feel comfortable in your fortifications of the people and the buildings of the town. And Mazdak has disappeared to see if he can get any arcane assistance from the council, but we will pick all of that up next Sunday.
Yeah.
This is where we'll leave it.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Wow.
So Mazdak has applied logic.
Yeah, logic.
As is his nature.
Indeed. So he's just thinking.
Sasha has applied pessimism.
Yeah.
Dalen has applied muscles.
Yeah, obstinacy has been applied by Sasha. So, yeah, that was really good fun. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Martin, for running everything. We will be back here on Tuesday for Helleran Rising, 7:30, obviously. Please check out Role Playing Gamers this evening at 7:30.
No.
No, apparently not.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Natalie has frozen in such a way that...
The DM is a busy beaver doing... Well, hello?
Oh, she's back in.
Yeah, unfortunately, DM is tied out, so
Okay.
no D&D tonight.
No D&D for Role Playing Gamers this evening, but we will be back on Tuesday, so make sure you find us then. In the meantime, obviously, have a wonderful few days, and we will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.